Hey, so AI coding can be pretty fun, but you do need to understand the limitations. I gave Claude Code a try last week and ended up spinning up my dream email influencer outreach platform in a couple of mornings. So I thought that's what I'd talk about today. So that's what we're doing. I'm just gonna improve this crop a little bit from CueCam. We're on shoot today. This is Squares TV App Lab number 115, where I show you how to use the tools I've created to look better on video. Let's use the iPad. I'm Michael Forrest and I make Video Pencil, Shoot and CueCam Presenter. Today I'm in Milan, Italy. So I'll show you what this looks like behind the scenes in a moment, but it's you can see it's not my usual slick space. I'm on the travel rig today. Hi Jeff. So yeah, I've only really been leaving the house when I've had my runs in the morning. So this was today, this was yesterday in city life. This was the day before. Harvey is currently just like trying to drive his train on just about anything he can see. And this is Harvey. Harvey enjoying the rain, and then this is what I look like today. So I've got my laptop, I've got Shoot on a selfie stick, I've got Video Pencil here, I've got a wire connecting that, I've got a little hub connecting that, and then I'm on a little lav mic, a Rode wireless Go 2, and just plugged into power. That's the nappies, that's the books. I'm basically on the baby change table, so I think this is pretty slick. I'm sure you'll agree about that. You'll agree. But yeah, let's start with some updates. So CueCam Beta is out. I actually shipped. So this was something I wanted to do it before we came to Italy. So I'm quite happy. It's been kind of a bit of a relief, to be honest, to finally have months of work in front of people and just start to see what the real issues are. And there have been a few things, but yeah, we've been having a good discussion up on Discord, which here's all the stuff, and you can see like the threads we've got. There's something weird with the audio driver, but I have been closing them. And we've been having some really good conversations about onboarding and all that kind of thing as well. So I'm sort of feeling quite excited about the sort of startup experience for CueCam in the future. Sorry, I was trying to, like, there's a weird bit of latency to toggling aside from the iPad. Let's try it from. Let's do that. So lots of stuff going on there. We're on version 5. Of the beta. Still a few things to do, but also like some of this stuff I've been doing with the onboarding sequence. So onboarding is like you first install the app. What does it tell you? And CueCam's been pretty light, but I found that the checklist that appears wasn't even it wasn't even opening that window necessarily. It was just opening like an empty open file dialog, which is just a disaster. And actually to test that was a lot. Like I had to literally make a new user account on my Mac, and yeah, like I had to make a new account, which takes ages because it's got to spin up the folders and it takes ages to log in. And you got to say, no, I don't want to connect to iCloud. And then you fire up CueCam the first time and it's weird. And then it's really hard to get it to do the same thing ever again. And that's also true for the network access request. There's no way to reset that. So it's just really hard for me to test what it's like for new users sometimes. So it does. So I've been working on a way to make that more testable. And I'm also quite excited that I'm going to be able to use CueCam's presentation features to do some onboarding. So like just show some text on screen, transition, do all that kind of stuff. So I'm quite excited about it, but also I'm kind of procrastinating a lot as well because it's like writing, but also like programming at the same time. And it's quite tricky. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah. Video Pencil, I've got a couple of notes on that. Like I did a couple of bug fixes. So I noticed that it was kind of freezing when you'd I don't know, that for a start, like it was making a network request and like just freezing to check for the offers. So that's always a fun thing to happen. And the other one was, yeah, there was another weird thing with when it pops up the, do you want to review? So if this is iOS 26 stuff, it was being a bit weird. So I did like ship a couple of updates this week just to try and get that under control. But a thing I did today, just sort of whilst procrastinating, is there's a new feature in Video Pencil that's going to come in the next build. So for some background, a lot of coaches use Video Pencil on a TV in a locker room. So they'll have it sort of, you'll have the TV up, have an Apple TV there, or like AirPlay's built in. You can just AirPlay to the TV, and then you can like bring up a video clip of, whatever just happened, annotate it, say, oh, you could have done this better. So they're not really using the camera in the way that other people are, and so then it's a bit weird that the iPad's kind of showing some random view of someone's crotch on the on the camera, and they don't. So it can be a bit weird. So today I added a new option that lets you turn off the camera and also add a background picture. So this lets you put up like your logo or something on that TV screen, and then sort of like you can start reviewing some footage. So that's a new I think it's going to be, I think a lot of people are going to find it really useful. And I think I can give you a quick demo of that if we share the iPad screen. So what is it mirroring to the screen? Who knows? But what we can do is in this menu, you can now select no camera. And you see I've been testing it. So if I go now, it's got the option to set background, or I'll remove the background first. So it'll be black by default. But if we go set background, we can just like, I'm going to be showing you loads of random stuff. So if we wanted, let's just pick this. So it's a bit, you see if it doesn't work, it just kind of goes red. Should we try this one again? It's like, it's got to download it from iCloud sometimes. Of course, when you try and do a live demo, it's doing this. Come on. Come on. What if it was a picture of Harvey? Okay, so of course I haven't actually shipped this build yet, but I don't know why it would be sort of erroring out like this. So we can actually see what's happening. If I go to settings, I just finished this like an hour and a half ago. So it's saying the given transferable item does not support import. What are you on about? Let's just see if we can just bully it into submission. One more time. Okay, well, you saw that it worked before, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. Dangers of a tech demo. Let's just kind of keep moving on. And because the other thing, just don't forget there's discounts on everything at the moment. So CueCam, Video Pencil. Let me just bring CueCam back to my iPad. Maybe if I just quit. Discounts on everything. CueCam, Video Pencil, Shoot. So if you look in Shoot and Video Pencil in the apps, you'll see like here's X% off, up to 40% off things. So get it before the end of November. And then CueCam has a 20% off your first payment. So if you do a year, that's 20% off the first year. Or if you do a lifetime, that's 20% off the lifetime as well. Or you can just do 20% off your first month, but that seems a bit of a waste. Also, if you want to top up your rent to own, now's a good time to do it. So if you paid for a couple of years already and you just want to like top it up, you can get 20% off that top up now. And that's some technical work I did after last time's stream to make sure that worked. And believe me, it's been a challenge to get that, but I explained it to my partner's mum today. Like, here are all the things that you have to think about to implement pricing. It's a lot. But yeah, let's jump to the content. You know what? The new version of CueCam, when there's a lower third, it actually like it would have brought me up to here instead of like making me kind of underneath the thing. I've made it so it just like adjusts, that still keeps the camera centered, which I just think is nice. So this is building your own CueCam tools, right? So I'm going to show you how I've hooked into CueCam with my tool that I made using Claude. And so I'm going to sort of show you some stuff basically, and hopefully it inspires you. Hopefully it's something that you find interesting. And then I'm also going to give some thoughts on like AI and stuff as well. So CueCam, is this, my teleprompter script writing app with a special ability. It's got a URL schema that allows other tools to generate scripts. So I wanted to find, so my thing is like, I want to find new people to tell about what I'm doing, right? By creating short little video intros that I can just email you. Oh, hi, I saw your video about this. I'm Michael. I make this. Here's this, this, this. So I decided, but like one of the hardest things is like doing that research, finding email addresses, deciding like just the criteria, finding people. I just find it really like, I just really bounce off it. Like I really don't like doing it. And I've tried to get other people to help me in the past and it's never quite been the right thing. But I thought actually like a bit of AI would probably be a good place. But so we're talking about making an AI tool using an AI tool, right? So we're already like 2 layers deep. This is the Eric Drexler Grey Goo, like if you Engines of Creation. That's a reference to by Eric Drexler, the nanotechnology machines that build themselves and turn everything into grey goo eventually. Anyway, so I wanted to build a short tool. This is like not something I was going to find time to do like on my own, but I thought, well, maybe it'll be a good project. Someone's Humberto's been telling me like, oh, you should try Claude Code. I'm like, and you know, John as well. Like, so I thought, okay, well, this is a project that's low stakes for me, really. I can sort of throw it at it and just see what happens. So yeah, the idea is it finds new people, it shows me their stuff, and generates a little video script and an email and some other stuff. I'll sort of summarize that here. You don't have to do the same thing. That's kind of the beauty of this, but this is what I'm doing. So this is the TLDR. Like CueCam has this. If you do CueCam is the protocol, and then you go script, and then you can just go like percent escape that entire script. So that can be really long. And as long as it's broken up into paragraphs, it's got little headings, like any sort of minimal markdown syntax, that's just going to come in as a new script in CueCam. So the first question you might be asking is, do you have to write code? Well, hopefully not, but the robot should be able to do most of it. The chances are you'll end up troubleshooting something or other. For example, like the YouTube API configuration was a bit of a pain. But you might not have to actually write anything yourself. You might, you know, for me, like I get to a point, I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to take over. I'm going to figure it out. Right. I'm going to Google it, which is the robots that sometimes doesn't seem to be doing very well. But you can probably like manage it into submission if you kind of keep prompting as well. So just to sort of summarize again what I've been building, it's something that finds people, it creates an outreach email, it creates a CueCam script, and just like improves as it learns. So it learns my tone of voice, it learns my preferences, you know, it also, you know, it's not just emails, it's the video, it's also maybe like a connection request or a comment on a Reddit thread. So these are sort of the basic things I wanted to do. So here's what my version looks like. I can sort of hit discover new prospects up here, and it will like refresh that. It will fetch the new prospects for the day. It shows, you know, and then it sort of shows them down here, which I'll expand in a moment. And then I've sort of like, you see, I've got carried away with some. Here's a streak, and here's how much it costs, and all that kind of thing. So if we sort of expand, I'm going to go to the pink pen. So if we expand someone up, you see it's got like, okay, here's the name. It's a YouTube person. The score thing, I think, you know, the AI ads stuff, and you're like, yeah, whatever. It finds the channel. It gives you, like, if it can find an email, it does, or like, you know, you sort of start going, okay, it's not finding email addresses for YouTube users. Let's like add a button that lets me add it by hand, because I can get to it by saying I'm not a robot. It sort of gives a summary of why. And what I said was like, well, I'll show you in a minute, but it gives us a summary of why we're contacting that person, why they're a good fit. Although that seems to have disappeared off, but and then just suggest an email. Thought about your mic review. Oh, I came across your video, blah blah blah, and then just like creates the email. And then if I just click send email, that just does a mail to link, and like that just opens my email client with the email pre-populated. But I probably won't like what it's written, so I can click edit script, edit email, and like edit the email to what I would say to the person, and then just now it's kind of stored my edit against the original, and then it uses that next time to try and like do better at writing the email next time it writes a new email. So that's kind of like that feedback process. And there's also a reject button down here, which I give a reason, and then in future when it's like finding people, it takes the reasons I've rejected other people into account. So if I say like, oh, that's AI slot, this has only got like 3 subscribers and 2 videos or no videos, like don't include this, it will now sort of fact that in. So the algorithm, as Philip's asking, is like, I kind of just, well, I'll show you the prompt, but I kind of let the robot take care of the algorithm. I just said like, look at my stuff, find people that might be a good fit based on like the CueCam presenter website and what I've written on there, and it came up with some tags, right? And then it like validates with the AI like based on like a basic prompt, which I did not write, like it's in there somewhere, I haven't really even looked at it, but based on an original AI generated prompt plus my kind of like revisions, like so it goes okay, and then don't like reject stuff that are called, you know, according to the criteria. We can have a look at the code if we've got time. And then it generates a CueCam script if I want. So this is like, you see it's like, I'm Mike from CueCam Presenter. That's my first edit. It's like, I'm not Mike, okay, robot. But yeah, so then that's where that button, that URL scheme comes in. You can just click on opening CueCam, and I haven't actually done any of these videos yet because I've been in Italy and I want to do it on my nice setup. But so you're going to have to we're going to see how this pans out in time because this is a bad script. But you sort of see where we're coming from. This is what it looks like when it opens in CueCam. It's just got the thing, and it just makes cards based on that. And so now we can just hit record, make a quick video, automatically share any pictures or videos, and just sketch on things using Video Pencil on the iPad. So if you are ready, let's, it showed Alex Chen, founder. There is a fun little bug where it doesn't add your name in the signature, but the other, oh, well, do you know why you're seeing that? The bug you're seeing, Philip, is because I said, oh, I want to share this demo on my stream this week. Can you make an obfuscated view of this? So what it's done is like I've just said like just change the names for random names so that you can't see like the real people I'm contacting, and then just like make sure that doesn't, so it's, yeah, it's like doing a bit of a heavy-handed find and replace, but I prefer that to you know, it's just to show you, right? So yeah, that's why that is. But yeah, so this is what we're using. This is Claude Code. It's a command line tool that you can set up and edit a code base to build software based on prompts, right? That's as you may, if you've sort of looked at this. So you'll be running commands in a terminal, which could be unnerving if you haven't done it before, but it's kind of like, it's not that difficult. And once you've done it a couple of times, you are going to feel like a hacker, like you're going to feel pretty clever. And so to get started, there's that website. It's got the instructions, but it's going to look something like you know, this command. So obviously, like, don't just run random commands like this that you find on the internet, because this could be anything. This could be like rm/sudo, you know, sudo rm/something, put your password in, it deletes your computer. But so you can sort of go and verify what that script is. But like this is, you know, I just ran it. I actually did it with Homebrew because that's a bit more validated. I'm sure Claude wouldn't be deleting people's computers, but you're just going to like run this in a terminal. So to find the terminal, you're going to just, you're going to go over to, just your Mac is in Utilities, or you can just search in Spotlight Terminal. And then this is my initial prompt, right? So if you have a look here, this is how I started. I created a folder, MF Code CueCam Outreach, right? And I just said, this project is for outreach for media, influencers, and small creators. I want to create a project that leverages an LLM to do research online, find contact information, and provide me with a daily list of prospective contacts, including a preview of any relevant content, and provide me with a daily list of prospective contacts, and a suggested, I'm trying to read it so that I'm looking at you, but then the teleprompter covers it up on Shoot. But suggested email, there'll be a button that calls into a webhook or another server to send the email, but actually I ended up doing just a mail to link. I'm an expert developer, front end and back end. I would imagine a local SQLite database to track everything, and a local web interface. My main project is at this URL, cuecampresenter.com. I'm the solo developer and content creator for the platform. So how do we start? So and then it sort of goes like, what's your preferred tech stack? And I say like, actually, I'm gonna use other. I'm gonna use the one that I always use, Phoenix. But you can sort of like use whatever. Um, yeah, like I picked my preferred, and then you can here you can see me adding. You know, I'm here, right, and it's asking me questions, and I'm already like bringing in an emotional component. I've said I think it's asking me what types of prospects are you primarily targeting, and I'm kind of saying like, well, first like some technical stuff, but I feel a bit overwhelmed about the about deciding who to contact. I think educators, content creators, business professionals, and experts running webinars, coaches, students. Just look at what I've done. Look at what I've done for them on cuecampresenter.com/docs under the tutorials. And then for scheduling, can you just use cron on Mac OS and I can figure out if you just give me a command to run, right? So I'm sort of like just I'm saying like I actually find that hard, so can you like take care of it? But a lot of this stuff I kind of changed my mind on, and that's another thing. Like you don't really feel like that sunk cost fallacy in the same way. You're like, actually, like we don't need to do this automatically. It's quite fun to actually like pull to refresh and get some more contacts, for example. Um, so it starts generating it, and so here's like the data tables and stuff. That's what like Phoenix gives you. And it just starts generating code, and it says, oh, can I like edit in this folder? And you go yes, and then like after a couple of times you just go, yeah, always let it do this, and then it starts writing code and you go, yeah, just always write the code. And like it's quite easy to just like let it do everything, especially on a greenfield project. Like I definitely don't have the same attitude when I've sort of let it look at some of my real code bases, and like I'm like checking every single thing it wants to write in there, and probably and a lot of time going, hey, no, do not do that. But when it's a greenfield thing and I'm not really worried about, it's like something is better than nothing, right? Then I'm just like, yeah, go for it, let's see what you can do. um and the great thing is you can try it out very quickly and just refine it as you go on. So I soon realized I needed different behaviors and discovery for Reddit versus LinkedIn versus YouTube. So some stuff is done via the Google Search API, other stuff is done via YouTube's API. Um, I will, I will want to set up environment keys for API access, but it's gonna need to sort of do API keys and stuff, and that's then getting into like these are secret things that you probably don't want to be pasting into Anthropic's database, but like there's ways to. I can probably still see a lot of it anyway if it wants. But yeah, like again, like you're always going to be able to ask how to do that, which is kind of crazy. That's a big difference in programming to how I kind of came up, is like when there's like, where does this live? How do I like, is something's giving you instructions and you're like, yeah, but I don't know what you mean. What is my like bash configuration? Like what are you talking about? And then you can ask stupid questions and say like, where would I keep that? And it would go, well, normally people would leave it in dot, tilde forward slash dot ZSHRC, and you can edit that file, export constants from there, and then just make sure that you use all that stuff that I've learned over the years, probably from people. You can just sort of like ask stupid questions to the robot, and it's going to kind of like help you with that. Um, and you can keep the requests pretty high level as well. So I just said like, can you just like gamify this to keep me coming back? And it added streaks and little charts. And then I was like, yeah, but I kind of want one that shows me how many I've done this week. Do it. I just asked it to kind of tweak it. And then, again, like once I started using it on my phone, I was like, oh, this is kind of addictive. Like I might find a new person to email. Like it's actually a really addictive app in itself. And I was like, well, let's just make this like pull to refresh so it just fully feels like a slot machine. Because I want anything that's going to make me feel like have more fun putting emails up, because most people don't reply to cold emails. Like it's at the end of the day, like you're going to be very lucky to get 1 in 100 replies. Although I did get, I mean, because I've been doing this for a while, I did send one out to someone that I've been trying to get in touch with for ages, and the AI kept bringing his name up, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna. Oh, I managed to find a contact form on his website, and so I just wrote him an email that so I've been thinking about that for ages, and then he actually did get back to me the next day, and I was like, hey, finally. So sometimes it's like, um, yeah, sometimes it's really cool to just kind of motivate yourself somehow. even if it's some superficial slot machiney thing, that just kind of like helps you find a way to send an email. That, for me, like this is one of my blocks. Like I'm much more comfortable writing code than I am like asking someone to be my friend, you know. um, Philip says in Claude Code, it's also super nice to press Shift Tab to go into plan mode when asking questions. So you're 100% sure Claude Code doesn't do anything on it. Is that like the to-do list or like? Because I quite like having the to-do list up. But yeah, you're going to say things like there's not much feedback when I'm searching for leads because, initially I had it as a command line thing and I was like, actually, I want the web interface to do it. And then you can say, okay, can you add it like a progress bar? And then I initially, I sort of made it change to a mail to link. And so there's all sorts of stuff you can try, right? But we're talking about CueCam here as well. So generating CueCam script, I'll just show you the prompt I used to get the video script. So I just said add a new button to the lead panels to create a iPhone storage full. I think the YouTube Kids app is filling up my phone. Right, add a new button to the lead panels to create a video script. This should be split into paragraphs representing teleprompter cue cards. There should be a paragraph that includes the link. The first should be like, hi lead, I'm blah, 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 I found your blah, 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 etc. with a view to including this video as a short email as an introduction. Cards are separated by 2 new lines. And then tell it how to open the result is just like scripts can be opened in CueCam, the Mac app, using the URL scheme CueCam, and then like that percent encoded scripting. And that's really all you kind of need to tell LLM to make it be able to generate a CueCam script. And then you can always kind of tweak the stuff as you go. Like it's just, this makes it really easy to just try it out and see what it gives you back. And then if it's no good, you can just like tweak and refine and maybe jump into the prompt if you need to. So I subsequently said, oh, can you make the script editable and take my edits into account in future? Because I didn't like the way it said like, hi, it's Mike from CueCam, for example. So I'm still like, I'm going to see how it pans out, and maybe I'll come back to this once I've sent a few emails out. Because the other thing I want to do is be able to in CueCam upload the video file and get the unlisted link and put that in an email, right? So that's another thing that I want to really, to send out a lot of these videos. I want to be able to do that. Although I suppose it'd be quite good to be able to use one of these other tools. I know Philip, you use what's that one? Loom or something. Like if I could just like hook into Loom as well, that would be quite handy, wouldn't it? I should probably look into that. But yeah, I'm not going to go into loads of detail here, as you are probably going to want something. This is supposed to be sharing. Yeah, I was going to just show you. Do we have? That's strange. It's like, what's it not finding? Code arc item 2. So I was just going to like show you what it feels like if you haven't had a go on this. And just like maybe let's try like a couple of tweaks. My screen sharing is it? We shared a screen before, right? Let me just try sharing my browser. Okay, so I can share my browser. So maybe it's maybe we found a bug with. Oh no, there we go. Okay. So here's I've resumed a session here, right? This is the session I was working on. So you can see this is where I was like, can you obfuscate the stuff, right? Because I wanted to make screenshots. This is all stuff that can like be really time consuming if you're doing it on your own, but like it's really easy to toss into this AI stuff. Should we make this even bigger? I think we could go nice and big. So I'm going to say like I want to be able to find authors who have written on these subjects as potential collaborators, or let's just say. So I want to be able to find authors who have written books. Sorry, and you can interrupt. Sorry, written books. So it's saying, do you want to search for prospects by topic? Add a subject-based discovery feature, filter subject matter. Which approach would work best for you? So I'm saying like, would you like me to add a new discovery source that searches books? Manual search feature let you. I just want a discovery source. So what of these sources should I use? No API preference, but sorry. It should, but sorry, make it automatic, right? So it's going to be like thinking, shimmying, plan mode, adding your book author discovery feature. So it's going to add something to the discovery module. So if we want to see, if you want to sort of see, like, here's the discovery module. So this is Elixir. I could probably even just hide this sidebar, and we can see like discover like the different platforms. So it's going to probably add in like some other API to that. Here's how it like does the YouTube search. Here's how it searches the web, and then we've got web search.search, and that's going to search for stuff. So it's been writing all this code to sort of do all this stuff. But if we just watch what it's doing, so it's going to take a little while. I don't know what I don't know. It seems to be okay. So I've completed. Sorry, that's sometimes it scrolls up to the top again for some reason, and then that's a lot to scroll back through. Okay, so do you want me to create book authors? So it said like, okay, so we're going to have discover authors with AI. Well-known book authors who's written. Oh, that's interesting. It's going to do it through AI, which makes sense because the AI is going to like know all the books and stuff, isn't it? So it doesn't actually need to go to Google for books. So then it can like find. That's really interesting. I wouldn't have done that. And then okay, provide their information, bring back bring back this data about them. I'm not sure what the platforms thing is supposed to be, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's any use. It's going to make this. It's going to sort of parse out the author name, determine the platform, and then I'm just going to say like, yeah, just go for it. Like, just go nuts. You see, I installed like Homebrew is the way if you are on a Mac to sort of do this stuff. So we just like kind of let it do it, and then I mean, I guess we can just like leave this running, and maybe I should like talk about the stuff I want to talk about while it works. But that's going to mean it's going to not. I don't want to like interrupt the screen share. But like this is kind of what it looks like. You just kind of like set it running, and then you sort of watch as your kind of web page kind of is it? Do I want to be here? Yes, I want to be here. Sorry, True. Yeah. So this is the thing. This is the sort of the like live page, and then it's going to keep like breaking the page as it edits it. So we'll kind of see that happening. But I'll just kind of keep talking while it's working, I think. And we can just like keep pressing. What is it? 2 to kind of bring back the bring back the thing. So you are going to get some superficially like with AI. With AI, you're going to get some superficially amazing looking results that when you try and actually use them are trash, right? This is sort of like something that happens a lot with AI. It's like it seems like it's really good, and then you're like, oh, especially with writing, like it's really easy to get something that you can't use, and that's why the first thing I did was sort of put that thing. So I use the AI generated emails as a jumping off point to get me writing, and time will tell how much better it gets at writing like me. I've sort of sent a couple of AI generated emails to people, but they were people that kind of had a bit of an AI focus on their platform. So I was like, okay, well, I don't care if you can tell that this is AI generated because that's kind of what you're doing as well. Um, so time will tell if it gets better at that. Um, so I'd rather my writing to be punchy and to the point, but I think the way LLMs work makes them naturally veer towards cliches and stuff that's quite predictable. So it's is it waiting for something? Is it so it's done it, has it? Okay. Um, I think just a note on writing. Like I think like so this is something I saw. Like you're always like saying, "Oh, AI, can you be more concise? Can you like get to the point and stop like rambling so much?" But I think that it's almost like a limitation of the AI that in order to think, it needs to be quite wordy to kind of like autocomplete its way into kind of the full thought. So it does tend to veer when it does write towards cliches, quite predictable stuff, but quite long stuff as well, and which is not really how I write. And so I don't really think it's ever going to be able to like write like me, but at least it's going to be able to put in the facts that I don't want to forget to include, right? Um, which, you know, that's a big deal. Like, that's cool. And so this is you know, again, in terms of writing, it is the opposite of what it takes to tell a good story. Like, an AI is just not going to create anything surprising or express some hitherto unarticulated truth about the human condition. It's just like mushing together what people usually say on the internet into something that looks plausible. So it's, you know, the writing itself is like rarely going to be usable without like replacing it all. Just like the code in a real project, probably I don't want to use it as an expert that actually knows what's going on. But I do like the motivation it's giving me. I like how I can see how much I'm spending. So I like that I've got this little you know, I've got this little today's cost, all time cost. Shall we just I will just like go on to the real one because I want to sort of see. I kind of want to see what it's come up with, and just like refresh. Let's just see like what happens if we go discover new prospects. So it goes. You see, I didn't send an email yesterday, so I've lost my streak. I've only got a 1 day streak. So let's see if we got any authors. I don't know if that worked. So this is where you start going, okay, is this anything? Has this worked? What we can do is go like mix prospects generate daily force. Let's see what happens if we just run it. Oh, CD outreach. Let's see. See, so it's like, oh God, token has been revoked. Interesting. Man. Okay, so I need to like refresh my YouTube token. So that's already gone wrong. But let's see, like, can we make it, is it giving me a books option or is it, let's see, when we had discover, we've now got book authors. So maybe I can go like, platform equals book authors. See if that works. Okay, searching. What did it say? Yeah, so your mileage may vary, right? Okay, so it's looking for stuff. It's qualifying with AI. We can see if we kind of refresh here, do we get any? I'm not seeing any book authors appearing. So, you know, like it's a little bit of kind of going around the houses sometimes, as I'm sure you can imagine. Like it's yeah, we'll see. This is like trying to sort of come up with something live. So, you know, I like how it saved me doing my least favorite thing by looking for new people and telling me like a bit about their content or background, and it's just giving me people to look at. It's filtering out people I can't email. So like this was a problem when I tried to like get Sharon to help me. It's like we were just like finding people, but then we couldn't find any contact information. So now the robot can have a look, and if it can't find anything, and then there was a bit of a process of saying you know, if it's like something at example.com, that's not a real email address. You know, it's putting in these users with these fake email addresses. So you just sort of have to keep like iterating on it. Um, but you're likely facing a different problem, right? That's the beauty of this approach. You can personalize the tool or your own tool to solve your own problems. You don't have to wait for someone else to build it. And then all you've got to know is like, if you want to do video scripts, just that little CueCam thing that the internet doesn't know about, but like I'm telling you about today. You can just like feed that into an AI, get it to build your tool that kind of helps you. You know, you could say like, write me a skeleton of a course, like 7 videos, 12 videos, and just get it to like give you 12 scripts like in 5 minutes, and then just have a look and say, okay, is this something I want to work with? If you don't like it, refine the prompt, do it again, right? So it's that kind of thing. So, you know, probably another way yeah, Philip says that's such a helpful tool, and I like the CueCam script gateway and the email prep. Yeah, it's just something. Do you know this? Like I've been thinking about like this type of approach to outreach for ages, and why I say this is like my dream platform is I just I was able to do all that clever like AI learning stuff for ages. You know, like how would you do that in a pre-LLM era? I've tried, but it's just always a bit of a pain. You're doing sentiment. You've just got these models, but it was kind of amazing to just actually be able to get that thing that I've thought of to exist in such little time, so much less time than it usually takes, and it's a bit more frivolous. than I would usually spend any time on. So it's just like a bit of a fun project. Like, if this will work, and so you can validate it, and you could validate, but then you sort of get carried away and start going, oh, I could turn this into a product, and that's where we then, right? Like, what are the caveats to this process? This is a personal tool, and the output is ultimately piped through a human. Like, I'm the one sending the email, I'm the one posting the comment, I'm making the connection request on LinkedIn, right? So as long as the app can keep track of who I've contacted, it doesn't need to be super stable, super maintainable, and I'm certainly not letting it like run off and email people on my behalf. That for me is like, you're just creating slop. For me, it's like, because the output is via me, it means it's like, it's controlled and it's human still. Um, and then my output ultimately is new friends, not some product that other people can use, right? So that's, a lot of people are trying to build products with AI using, but I'm skeptical because I think, I mean, we've seen like it adds so many layers of security considerations and all sorts of other complexities that can be avoided. Like, I've got, it's a local website. I just fire it up on my machine. It doesn't have to like be on the internet. It can't be hacked or anything like that. It can't be. I'm not like letting other people put their businesses through it, like, which would be so tempting. I think that's where you get into trouble and where you start. Like, I think I see people really fighting with it once they start trying to make real products. But again, like, also it's not like the most, it's fun until it's not. And that's it. Like, the process is very addictive. So there is a health warning on this. It's really like I was just like, that first day I was just prompting going, oh, I could make it do this. Oh, I could make it do this, until it like cut me off because I'd spent, like, I said, here's $15 to Claude Code, and I put a reminder to cancel it after a month. I'm like, I'm just going to give this a go. Um, but like, I was like hitting my, for the first couple of days, I just hit my token limit because I was like, hey, this is, just working, working, working. So you can get this quick fix really easily. And it's just really like such a rush to like make something useful so easily. Yeah, just one more prompt says exactly. But at some point, you probably have to fix something yourself, and this is where like you crash. This is the come down, like the walls come crashing down. It's too easy to rely on the robot and then stop checking its work. But then when you do check its work, you're going to see the code is not good for humans to maintain. It's full of like, I think the most tricky type, and from decades of like professional software development, the trickiest and most annoying type of bug is when someone copies and pastes some code and it's almost identical, and you don't know how many times they've done it, like 4 times is too many times, and then you're just like, you fix a bug and then it pops up somewhere else and it pops up somewhere else, and the same thing keeps like happening, and you realize that someone's like copy pasted this same code all over the place, and your assumptions that they would like keep the same thing in one place are completely broken. And that's kind of how AI writes code. It's the worst kind of code possible. And that you can say, like, as long as it's the one responsible for maintaining it, fine, that's not my problem. But the trouble is, at some point you end up having to maintain it yourself, and then, you know, other things, like, because there's a lag on, it doesn't really know what the latest thing is necessarily. So like, this code base that this thing's generated for me in Phoenix is like, it's using a lot of techniques that have been obsolete for years now, right? Like it's just inlining like these kind of like templates, when that we've got whole much better ways of doing things that have come out in the last 2 or 3 years, that there's no reason to be using the old things. But because it's just like, stochastically it's just completing the thing based on what's out there, and it's not really distinguishing between what's newer and what's older. It's like, it's janky, right? And people tell you this can be managed with LLM configuration files, and you can paste in or like generate coding standards and tell it this and like use these libraries. And but I still think it's just, I think it's like such diminishing returns once you're sort of starting to try, you're fighting with the way it works, and I think you're always going to lose that battle. Like, you're always going to keep coming back to the same problem where it just doesn't understand what it's doing. No amount of like, here's a file with like coding standards that I got from somewhere is good. Like, it knows that, it's seen that, right? It knows everything, it's seen everything. It just, if it doesn't understand from having seen it, it's not going to understand it from you like adding a little thing up front. I just honestly like, so you just sort of, for me, like, I'm very like default settings. Like I sort of went to meet this guy like a couple of years ago. He had a studio. It was a really cool studio, but his computer setup was all like, oh, I've got this special keyboard that's two keyboards split, and I've got all my special like Mac desktop help. Like you've got customized menus and all these things, and I just think that as soon as you start doing that, like going away from like default settings, you just you create instability. You make it harder to just switch to a different machine, and you just you're kind of going against you're sort of not letting Apple kind of like make it work the way it's supposed to work anymore, because like now I don't know, I want to if you start like fiddling with it, I find that sort of like causes more problems than it solves. So I just kind of like I'm like, okay, I need to be able to work on a default configuration, and that's fine. Yeah, I've got my Z, my command bash script stuff. But like I'm sort of like I'm as just as I'd just rather use like ChatGPT on default settings, because I kind of know that I'm not the expert here. Why am I configuring the LLM? Like a Claude Code, a bit more optimized for code. Okay, fine. I'll just use it out the box, but I'm not going to start trying to like tweak it. And I think that's where people can lose their minds, right? Once they start trying to tweak and control this thing that you don't understand what's going on. So and I've read pieces by people that got carried away with this approach to software development, and a big project sounds like a nightmare of micromanaging multiple robots and not really being able to trust that the next change doesn't reintroduce bugs that were already fixed. You end up telling it to like make unit tests and keep a bug tracker and make sure that you don't cause regressions, and all this stuff just ends up ballooning complexity and it doesn't really solve it. You get diminishing returns. So it's like people try and use this stuff, but it always just comes back to the same thing. It's just not really doesn't understand it, so it makes a mess, like if you start trying to do too much with it. And this is why I'm like, okay, this is why CueCam has taken me so long, right? It was my first big AI back. It's the first project I've started using AI. And my feeling about AI stuff is like first hour you get like what, like 70%. Right, first hour you're like, what? I made a thing. And then like the second hour you manage to do like 5%, right? That takes you another hour. And then the next 5% takes you like 2 weeks, and then the next 5% takes you like 6 months, and then the last 5% takes you another year, right? It's it it overcommits you and then can't get you over the finish line, because it just doesn't know, it just knows how to get you started, but it doesn't know how to like make it right. So it's just like, this is why on this project, even though like on Tuesday I was like, I could sell this easily. Like this is a great platform. But I know like this code base is janky as all heck. I know as soon as I start like adding a login system and like having people rely on it, they're going to want it to do certain things. I'm going to start like updating it, making it. Yeah, that's easy to do, and this is going to take over my life, and it's not what I want to be doing. And so like, just keep it to a small project that doesn't need to be correct without human intervention, and we're all good. I don't want another CueCam presenter on my hand. Like I want to get CueCam perfect. That's what the beta's about. But like, I'm not. It's like the AI sort of accelerates you and then like just like leaves you hanging, and that's a really big problem. Anyway, we can talk about this more on Discord over at squares.tv/discord. So that's where we usually are. So this post, yeah. So again, like you can try CueCam, just like there'll be a link here somewhere. So that is today. We're going to go back to the main project, and we're back. All these little, there's a black screen, it does a thing. Philip says true words. It makes it all this kind of black screen, janky transitions. That's all like stuff that I'm going to be getting rid of in the new version. So yeah, again, squares.tv/discord. This is where you can find me. So thank you very much for watching. I'm supposed to be picture in picture on this, am I? I wanted to be picture in picture. Should we try one more time? Please let me be picture. Okay, it's not going to let me be picture in picture on this card. Hopefully, I think that's something that's fixed on the new version as well. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you all. Thanks for everything. Thanks for being interested. I think that was fun, wasn't it? Considering we are on the portable rig, that's pretty good. Oh no. Okay, I've disappeared. All right, bye bye. End stream.